Sony unveiled the PlayStation VR 2 and the PlayStation VR 2 Sense controllers. And I gotta say, I'm just a bit excited about this, and the specs are actually really good. So let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Joshua for the Love of Games. VR is about to take another giant leap forward in the console space with the PlayStation VR 2. Now, Sony is the only competitor in the console market space, but we can actually compare this to the Quest 2 at some point in some key aspects as well, which I may make some references to that and the G2 as well, only because the nearest competitor to the PlayStation VR 2 headset would be the Reverb G2 from HP. So I want to talk about the specs here because this is all we really have to go off of right here from the PlayStation blog. This article is directly from PlayStation themselves, from their blog website, and I was reading a few things about it, and I gotta say, I am pretty impressed with this headset. This headset is going to be revolutionary in a couple of different ways, and one of the different ways that it's going to be revolutionary is the sensory features. So right here, the new sensory features that the controllers and the headset itself is going to be able to bring to you. So this headset, inside the headset, there's a motion sensor, or is a vibration motor that will give you haptic feedback on your face, as well as having the controllers, the new DualSense VR controllers. This is going to be one heck of a VR setup. So you're going to be able to feel the breathing of the character that you're taking control of. Be able to get more deep into the experience here. And Sony is actually bringing 4K to the PlayStation VR 2 as well, which is another really good thing. So visual fidelity is going to be there. We're going to have the clarity, the crispness of what we get out of PC VR on a console, and that is going to be leaps and bounds better than the original PlayStation VR. The other good thing about the screens here is we're getting a wider field of view at 110 degrees FOV compared to the original PSVR, which was at 96 degrees POV. So it's quite a big jump, and that extra, 14 degrees of resolution of a field of view makes a big difference inside the headset. Now, for reference, the HP Reverb G2 actually has a field of view of 114 degrees, which I believe when MRTV actually tested that, it was around 105 or around 100 degrees field of view. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure it's what it is. And just to get that extra 14 degrees of field of view on a console from PSVR to PSVR 2, this is going to be a much needed improvement from the original PSVR, let alone just the screen size and the screen resolution from 1920 on a single panel to 2000 by 2040 resolution screens. But just going to that wider field of view is going to make all the difference in the world and make you feel that much more into the game. The other really cool thing that I'm actually looking forward to is two things, but the kind of one, when you really think about it. One is the foveated rendering. So if you guys don't know what foveated rendering is, it's when the center of the display is actually in focus, what you're actually looking at, and everything outside is not really rendered 100%. It's still kind of that blurriness, kind of fading into the background type thing. That is called foveated rendering. Now, when you take that and couple it with eye tracking or built-in eye tracking, that is going to be a big key point selling feature here. So now, instead of rendering out that 2000 by 2040 resolution image at all times, they can concentrate just in that little itty bitty space right where your eye is or where your eye is focusing on. And then take that, and when you move your eye, the eye tracking can take it and take that foveated rendering area, that area that's being rendered, and move it to different parts of the display, saving on resources, saving on power, so that way you can actually render less but see more, if that makes any sense. So the foveated rendering coupled with the eye tracking, I think, is going to be a much needed improvement and a much better experience overall than we had with the PSVR 1 or any other fixed foveated rendering headset like the Quest 2. Moving on down the spec list, we have a panel refresh rate of 90 Hz or 120 Hz, which is going to be able to switch dynamically between the two depending on where you're at and how graphically intensive each game is or each area of the game you're playing is. The lens separation is adjustable, and I'm hoping for a mechanical adjustment here, just like on the Quest 2, but more so like the G2 or the Valve Index, where it's a mechanical adjustment, but not just 3 stops of adjustment. We actually have multiple points there, and it can adjust between like 60 to like 74 millimeters of pupillary distance. That is what I want to see here, not this adjustable 3-point fixed or 1-point fixed area, or not even a internal adjustment here, a non-mechanical. I just don't think that'll be a viable solution for them. The motion controllers is 6-axis motion sensing system, pretty par for the course, and it's also going to have an IR proximity sensor, which I'm a little apprehensive of how they're going to use that, but I want to see what's going to happen with that. The PSVR 2 is also an inside-out track device, which is a much needed improvement over the original PSVR. So no need for an external camera monitoring the controls or the movements of the headset or the move controls themselves. It's going to be all integrated and built in, much akin to that of the Quest 2, which I am so happy to see that over the external camera setup with the lights and all this other stuff. That was just baloney in my opinion, but this is a much more robust tracking system like the Quest VR, like the Quest 2 and the Reverb G2, even though the Reverb G2 does not have the best inside out tracking. Hope they learn from their mistakes and go with the Quest 2 setup, because yeah. Anyway, the other thing is that people are up in arms about. I personally don't care. I don't mind this thing, but it's going to be a tethered headset with a single USB Type-C connection, which I am okay with. As long as it's not this big bulky cord coming off the back of my head, I'm good with that. One little tiny USB-C connection, perfect. If it breaks, I can buy another cable off the shelf. Hopefully they don't make it a proprietary cable, which knowing Sony, they probably will. But if I can buy a cable off the shelf like I can on my Quest 2, perfect, even better. So a single USB Type-C connection is going to be a good thing. It's not gonna be a bad thing. I think if Sony went wireless with this, they would have some sort of interference. Latency would be involved in that, and I don't think it'd be a very good thing. So going with the tethered connection, I think it's a smart move on Sony's part. As far as audio goes, we have a built-in microphone, and an output, we have a stereo headphone jack. So we're having a 3.5mm headphone jack coming back with the PSVR 2. Nothing built in, unfortunately, but that's a good thing. You actually wear your favorite headphones with the PSVR 2, or they may have an add-on coming on for it in the future. And the last thing on the list that they talk about is the PSVR 2 Sense controllers, which I'm actually looking forward to actually testing out. This is going to be a robust controller. They look like an interesting controller, like a robust controller. They look like they might be able to take a beating in the tracking rings on the outside, around your hand, look like brass knuckles almost. It looks pretty cool. I got to give Sony credit where credit's due. They look amazing. They look like they're very comfortable, and Sony is known for making very comfortable controls as well. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say that Sony got a good thing going with these controllers, and that the cage around your hand is not going to be, it's going to help with the occlusion of going over each other, going over each hand and everything else. I think it's going to be a really good thing here. So it's got USB Type-C port on the bottom for charging and updating, I'm sure. It's a communication, which is Bluetooth version 5.1. And the last thing with the controls that they talk about here is the built-in lithium-ion battery. So there's no need to go ahead and start scrambling around for like AA's, AAA's to try to find batteries for your controllers. It's going to be a built-in lithium-ion battery, which is a very good thing. Charge it in when you're done with your PlayStation with a single USB cable, ×2 most likely for both controllers. And this is akin to that of the Valve Index controllers, which I am very fond of. And I do like the fact that I don't have to go find batteries for my Valve Index controllers, and it just makes life that much easier. Now for my Quest 2, it does make it a pain in the butt when the batteries do die, but at the same time I can continue playing right away by changing the batteries out. But having the built-in batteries is going to have kind of forced PlayStation breaks, which is a good thing, because every now and then in VR you will need to take breaks to rest your eyes and everything else. So having built-in batteries, in my opinion, is a good thing. Now the big question on the table here is, we do know what the PSVR 2 controls are going to look like, but we do not know what the headset's going to look like, which has led to a lot of people speculating online. Now the thing is, I do not think it's going to look at anything at all like the original PSVR. So I saw some markups on here that had the PSVR lights on the PSVR 2 just all in black, and I don't think it's gonna be, I think the headset may be black, but I think it may be a combination of black and white, kind of like that of the PS5. And I think this is probably going to be the closest render that we're going to have to the PSVR 2. I saw another render, I'm going to try and find it as I scroll down here, that was just literally a black PSVR 1, and it didn't look like that at all. I don't think it's going to look like that at all. The other thing I don't think the PSVR 2 is going to have is a flip-up design. I don't think the screens or the displays are going to flip up out of the way, because HTC did not have a good time with that with the Cosmos. That was one of the weakest points, the weakest things about the Cosmos, besides the resolution. But having that air gap between your face and the headset just led to a lot of light leakage inside of the headset, and it wasn't a good thing. People did not have a good time with that. I actually skipped out on the Cosmos altogether because I didn't want to get caught up in all that drama and all that crap that was going on with HTC at that time. So I think a flip-up display is going to be out of the question. I think we're going to have the glasses spacer or the depth adjustment that we had with the PSVR 1. I think that's going to be there. I'm hoping that's going to be there. So that way you have people that have glasses and everything else can still play with the glasses on, and they can get a little closer to the lenses. And for us, people like me that don't wear glasses can get really up close and tight with that lens and get a really good field of view and just get a nice crisp perfect image. That's what we're all striving for. So as far as console VR goes, Sony is the only player in that market, and I think they're going to knock it out of the park once again. The PSVR 1 was an innovative piece of technology for the PS4, and it brought VR to consoles, and it just did something that wasn't done before. Everyone thought that PC VR was the only way, that consoles could never run VR, and Sony actually did it. They had a breakout box, yes. They had 2 cables, yes. They had a pain in the butt setup, but you know what? It was VR on a single 1080p panel, and it worked. That was the greatest thing. And actually to play Resident Evil 7 in VR on my console was a beautiful thing. And actually, it's one of the reasons why I bought the VR headset, so I can play RE7 in VR. I loved it. I loved the PSVR 1. Then I got into PC VR gaming, and I just fell in love with it from there on out. But I think Sony with the console market is going to stay in that market. I think they're going to be the only ones there. And if Microsoft really wants to respond, they have a few Windows mixed reality headsets like the G2, like a Samsung Odyssey and stuff like that, that they can bring over to the Xbox and give some competition to Sony in the console VR space. I think from there, you're going to see a big shift if that ever happens. Microsoft is staying out of the game. Xbox is staying out of the game when it comes to VR. I can respect that, but I really think they need to shake up Sony when it comes to console VR. And I think that Microsoft is the only company that's going to be able to do it. Nintendo won't do it. Nintendo is going to be so far removed from VR and so far removed from everything else that it's really going to be the juggernauts. Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony. Those are going to be the 2 competitors if Microsoft can actually bring VR to the consoles. And I think the PSVR 2 is going to be a really great addition to the Sony library of hardware, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm just hoping the price is going to be around the $499 mark or the $399 mark, and that's going to be really pushing it. But I think it's going to be more along the lines of $499, maybe even $599. So yeah, so I think it's going to be along the lines of $499 or $599. That may be where the pricing is going to be at, and only time will tell, honestly. I'm hoping it also comes out in 2022. It may be a 2023 release. They didn't announce any release dates. They didn't announce anything except for they're making it. It's coming to market, so that's a great thing. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, give this video a big thumbs up because it really does help out the channel and helps us reach new people. But until next time, guys, I'm Joshua for the Love of Games, signing out. Have a great day.